All right, hello and welcome back to part 4 of the anatomy day 77. So we're going to continue on our last little bit with accessory digestive organs. So we've got 5 major things we're going to look at: teeth, salivary glands, pancreas, liver, and gallbladder. So we'll start with the teeth here. So teeth are involved in mastication, or the chewing of food into smaller fragments. This is a mechanical breakdown. Throughout our life, we have 2 sets of teeth. The first set that we call our baby teeth or milk teeth, also known as deciduous teeth. 20 teeth by age 2 is usually what happens. Usually the first teeth to appear are the lower central incisors. And then we have our permanent teeth, which replace the deciduous teeth, anywhere from about 6 to 12. And a full set of teeth is 32 teeth, including the wisdom teeth. So if we look at kind of images of that, so here you can see this is the deciduous or the milk teeth. So we break them teeth types up according to shape and function. So we've got our incisors. Those are the ones in the very front for cutting. We've got what we call our canines or the eye teeth. Those are for tearing or piercing. We have what's called our premolars or bicuspids. And here you can see them down here. Those are for grinding. And then our molars, those are for grinding. And so you can see incisors, canines, premolars, molars. And you can see kind of the different shape with the molars having kind of the 2 roots, the premolars just having one root on there, and kind of different shapes as well. If we look at kind of a regions of an individual tooth, it's broken down into 3 parts: the crown, the neck, and the root. And you can see the material that kind of goes inside the tooth as well. We'll talk about that as we go here. So the crown is the exposed part of the tooth above the gingiva, which is the gum. It contains enamel, which covers the crown, and then dentin, which is found deeper to the enamel and forms the bulk of the tooth and surrounds the pulpy cavity. The pulp cavity itself contains the connective tissue, blood, veins, and nerve fibers, and then the root canal, which is where the pulp cavity extends into the root. So here we can see the enamel on the outside, and the enamel is actually the hardest section of any body anywhere. So just as an aside, in fossil stuff, people look for teeth because teeth enamel is really hard, so it makes good fossils there. And then we've got the dentin there, the pulp cavity, and then the root canal kind of going down that way with the nerve and the blood vessels continuing down below there. Moving on, we've got the neck, and that's the connector between the crown and the root, and it's in contact with the gum. And then the root itself has this thing called cement, which covers the outer surface and attaches the tooth to the periodontal membrane through a ligament, and that holds the tooth in place in the bony jaw. So here you can see the periodontal membrane down here that's holding the tooth in place next to the bone nearby it. And that's pretty much it for the tooth. So if you want teeth, you want to go back real quick and kind of, again, look at the incisors, canines, premolars, and molars, or the names of the teeth and kind of different parts of it there. All right, so if you have somebody that's willing to in your household, you certainly can do this. If you don't have somebody willing, then don't feel like you have to do this. But it's kind of interesting to look to kind of see somebody else's teeth that you haven't really looked at it before. But again, not an obligation. All right, moving on, the second of the accessory glands, we've got the salivary glands. So there's 3 major salivary glands. We call the parotid glands, found anterior to the ears, the submandibular glands, and the sublingual glands. And we'll look at an image kind of where those are. So you've got the parotid glands, which are up here. We've got the sublingual, which is down below the tongue, and the submandibular, which is down there. And they all produce saliva, which is a mixture of mucus and serous fluid. Helps to moisten the food, helps bind food together, kind of this mass that we call a bolus. When you swallow like a chunk of food, that's called a bolus. And it contains these enzymes. 2 big ones that it has is salivary amylase, which begins starch digestion, and then lysozymes and antibodies, which inhibit bacterial growth. And we're beginning the chemical breakdown in addition to the mechanical breakdown. So chemicals can be dissolved so they can be tasted as well, because they're now in liquid. All right, continuing on, we've got the pancreas, and the pancreas is, I don't see it on this image, but it's over on this one on the right here. So it's this kind of triangle-shaped gland and it serves both as part of the digestive system and the immune system. So it's kind of, or the endocrine system. So it's kind of multi-function across there. Um, it goes kind of from the spleen to the duodenum, kind of the region there. I mean, it would sit. So if this is the stomach, it would actually kind of sit right inside, right next to that, right there. Oh, here, I think that's the pancreas back that way. All right. So produces a wide spectrum of digestive enzymes that break down all categories of food. It secretes enzyme into the duodenum. Um, alkaline fluid is produced or introduced with enzymes and neutralize the acidic chime coming from the stomach and produces the hormones, particularly insulin, which regulates blood sugar, and glucagon, which also involves in regulating blood sugar level. So yeah, here's our pancreas right there. So liver, duodenum, that's our pancreas. There again, kind of this sort of triangle shape. All right. The liver is the largest gland in the body. It's located on the right abdominal side of the body, just under the diaphragm, so the right upper quadrant of your abdomen. There's 4 lobes, as it's been from the diaphragm and the abdominal wall by what's called the falciform ligament. And again, here you can see the liver kind of in all its glory right there. It kind of makes up, again, that bulk of the upper part of the abdomen there. And there's the falciform ligament right there. You follow that, kind of connecting everything, holding everything in place with the diaphragm just above it there. All right. So again, liver in this case is kind of this big red, and livers are relatively solid. They're not hollow organs like the stomach is. And so one of the things the liver does is it produces bile, and bile leaves the liver through the common hepatic duct into the duodenum. Bile is yellowish green. It contains bile salts and bile pigments, which help break down or emulsify fats and lipids. So its big job is to break those fats and lipids down. So sometimes the bile gets or sometimes the gallbladder, which stores the bile, bile backs up in the cystic duct for storage in the gallbladder, and where it's concentrated by the removal of water. So when fatty food enters the duodenum, the gallbladder is what actually spurts out the stored bile into the duodenum there. And people do get kind of mineralization buildup in there, so they have these things called gallstones that they actually build up in the gallbladder. It can be painful to get those removed. All right, again, here's the gallbladder over on the left here, and then this is the gall duct, cystic duct going down to the hepatic duct, going out to ultimately the duodenum there. All right, and that concludes the digestive system. So next time we will continue on the digestive system, kind of more of the physiology of kind of what's actually happening. Today was mostly just a tour of the anatomy. So we got that out of the way. We can move on to other things next. All right, thank you for your patience in getting through everything. All right.